Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Chair of the Senate Liaison Committee, I wish to lay on the table of the Senate. I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 28 May 2025, report of the Liaison Committee on the activities and operations of select committees during the third session of 2024.
Chairperson Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights. Any member of JLAC?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, being the 28th May 2025. Number one, report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on its consideration of the County Government's Election Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 2 of 2024. Number two, being the report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on its consideration of the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 17 of 2024. Number three, report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on the consideration of a petition to the Senate by Mr. Bakari Alfan Munge and three others, being residents of Kwale County, regarding the implementation of an award by the Environment and Land Court for compensation and resettlement to the owners of Ramisi Phase 1, Block 5056 in Kwale County. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on consideration of a petition to the Senate by Mr. Laban Omusundi regarding the introduction of a framework for recalling nominated members of the county assemblies, MCAs. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairperson Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 28 May 2025, report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on its inquiry, the state of governance in the county government of Garissa, arising from the statement sought by Senator Abdul Haji, MP. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay.
Next order, clerk.
Order number 6, notice of motion.
Chairperson Liaison Committee. Senator Mandago.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of the following motion on the report of the Liaison Committee on the activities and the operations of Select Committee during the third session of 2024. That the Senate notes the report of the Liaison Committee on the activities and operations of Select Committees during the third session, pursuant to Standing Order 224-2, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 28 May 2025.
Chairperson JLAC.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to give notice of the following motion that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on its consideration of a petition to the Senate by Mr. Bakari Alfan Munge and three others, being residents of Kwale County, regarding the implementation of an award by the Environment and Land Court for compensation to and resettlement of the owners of Ramisi Phase 1, Block 5056 in Kwale County, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 28th May 2025.
You have another notice to give, so you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I equally beg to give notice that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on consideration of a petition to the Senate by Mr. Laban Omusundi regarding the introduction of a framework for recalling nominated members of the county assemblies, MCAs, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 28th May 2025. Thank you.
The Chairperson Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to the Senate, I request the Senate to adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on its inquiry into the state of governance in the county.
Senator Abbas.
Yes, sir.
You are giving notice.
Okay. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on its inquiry into the state of governance in the county government of Garissa arising from a statement sought by Senator Abdul Haji, MP, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, the 28th May 2025. I beg to lay it.
Senator for Nandi, the Honorable Samson Chirange.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that welfare of interns working under the Public Service Commission, that aware that the Public Service Commission has provided internship opportunity to many youths in various government departments and agencies for a period of not exceeding 1 year, pursuant to guidelines and management of public service internship program, October 2019, appreciating that since its inception, the internship program in Kenya has been instrumental in providing practical experience to graduates and enhance employability, offering networking opportunities, and has on a number of occasions led to full-time jobs to graduates. Concerned that internship opportunities are limited in number, skewed in distribution across the government departments and agencies, lack clear pathway to permanent employment, have inadequate opportunities to skills development due to the shortage duration that are offered, and that the stipend offered to PSC interns is insufficient, with an average stipend ranging from 15,000 Kenya shillings to 30,000 Kenya shillings per month, which is not sustainable, especially to interns living in major cities like Nairobi, Mombasa, Eldoret, and Kisumu, where the cost of living is too high. Now, therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Senate resolves that the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service and Human Capital Development, in consultation with the Public Service Commission, reviews the guidelines to the Public Service Internship Program of October 2019, with a view to, 1, increase the stipend offered to interns to cushion them against the high cost of living, and 2, put in place mechanisms to promote and reward innovation by the interns. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Next order. Now, honorable senators, before the clerk calls the next order, allow me to make this communication. Bishop Murgo, Reverend, kindly take your seat. He is a man of God, all the same, nevertheless. Now, honorable senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of visiting teachers and students from Frithov, Eugene Bice Academy in Kajiado County. The delegation comprises 25 teachers and 73 students who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposition. Honorable senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming guests to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I will ask the Senator for Nairobi City County under 1 minute to extend. Oh, okay. Senator Seki, the senator who was elected by many people, if I recall. You may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want also to join you to congratulate and welcome a student from Kajiado. Want to wish you well and welcome you to the Senate of Kenya. And I believe that you will learn much more in this session until when you leave this place. Otherwise, thank you very much for coming to take note on these issues that are being taken in this Senate. And I believe as you go back home, you will have a story to tell to your fellow students and pupils, and definitely will join hands together as we come back to Kajiado and say hi to you in Kajiado and even outside here. But I think it is good that you came. Otherwise, thank you very much. This is Senate. We are almost 3 of us here, delegation of 3, Mheshimiwa Mundet and Mheshimiwa Peris Tobiko, but I'm the elected senator from the people of Kajiado. Thank you very much.
Next order, clerk.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Senator Hamida Kibwana, statements pursuant to Standing Order 52-1. That statement is dropped. Statements pursuant to Standing Order 53-1. The Honorable Senator Essi Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A request for statement on the challenges arising from the upgraded ticketing and queuing system at the Nairobi National Park. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism on a matter of national concern on the implementation of a new ticketing and queuing system by the Kenya Wildlife Service at Nairobi National Park, rolled out on the 5th of February 2025. Mr. Speaker, sir, although introduced as a pilot initiative to improve efficiency and streamline visitor access, the system has resulted in prolonged delays, visitor dissatisfaction, and concerns over possible misconduct by staff. These challenges, if not addressed, may negatively affect our tourism revenue and Kenya's image as a preferred wildlife tourism destination. In the statement, the committee should therefore address the following. 1, the rollout and technical implementation of the upgraded ticketing and queuing system at Nairobi National Park, including the objectives of the pilot phase and how it was structured. 2, the reasons for the continued delays and inefficiencies experienced by park visitors. since the launch of the system, identifying whether these are due to technical, operational, or human resource challenges. 3, reports or investigations into cases of misconduct involving KWS staff, particularly concerning irregular entry procedures. 4, the impact of the new system on visitor numbers, satisfaction and revenue collection at Nairobi National Park since February 2025. And finally, the internal assessment and feedback mechanisms established by KWS to monitor system performance and the steps being taken to resolve the current inefficiencies and ensure a smooth visitor experience going forward. Senator Ukenyuri Esther, thank you.
Senator Richard Onyonka.
Mr. Speaker, thanks for your indulgence. Mr. Speaker, I would like to request for a statement on the criteria for the designation of diaspora polling stations globally. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee of Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on a matter of international concern regarding the criteria used in the designation of polling stations outside our country, Kenya. Mr. Speaker, the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission is required by Article 88(4) of the Constitution and Regulation 34 of the Election Voters Registration Regulation, which was done on 2012, is responsible for ensuring continuous registration of Kenyan citizens locally and abroad. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, the committee should address the following: the criteria applied in the choice and appointment of locations for polling stations globally during the coming elections. Mr. Speaker, number 2, the procedures for voter registration, voter education, and casting of votes by diaspora citizens, including provisions in place for ensuring transparency, accountability, and access to information for Kenyans abroad regarding their eligibility, voting rights, and where polling stations are going to be located in their areas. Mr. Speaker, I would like to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to ask these questions about our members of the diaspora. Thank you, sir.
Next order. Now, honorable senators, if you look at your order paper, order number 8 to 13, these orders are up for division, and therefore we'll call them at once. Proceed to ring the bell, and then proceed to do divisions. Clerk, proceed to call those orders.
Order number 8, motion. The report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the county government's additional allocations cash disbursement schedule for the financial year 2024-2025 division. Order number 9, the division of revenue bill, National Assembly bills number 10 of 2025, second reading division. Order number 10, the sports amendment bill, Senate bills number 33 of 2024, second reading division. Order number 11, the sports amendment number 2 bill, Senate bills number 45 of 2024, second reading division. Order number 12, the creative economy support bill, Senate bills number 30 of 2024, second reading division. Order number 13, the cooperatives bill, National Assembly bills number 7 of 2024, second reading division.
Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the division bell for 5 minutes. Sergeant at Arms, you may now close the doors and draw the bars. Now, honorable senators, before we do the actual voting, kindly log out. Just pull out your cards from the delegates unit. And Sergeant at Arms, just go around and pick the unattended cards. Sergeant at Arms, if you're ready, let me know. Sergeant at Arms, are we ready? Thank you. Honorable senators, you may now log back into the delegate unit. Before you vote, allow me to put the question on order number 8. That the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the county government's additional allocations, cash disbursement schedule for the financial year 2024-2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, the 27th of May, 2025, and that pursuant to Section 17.7 of the county government's additional allocations, Section 17.7 of the Public Finance Management Act, the Senate approves the county government's additional allocations cash disbursement schedule for the financial year 2024-2025. Clerk, what's wrong with the system? All right, honorable senators, you may now proceed. Okay, we will announce the results at the very end. We will now move to I will now put the question for order number 9. Which is the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 10 of 2025, be now read a second time. May you put the system up and running? Honorable Senators, you may now proceed to vote. Honorable Senators, we are now moving to order number 10, and I put the question that the Sports Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 33 of 2024, be now read a second time. You may proceed to vote. Honorable Senators, will now move to order number 11. Majority Leader, kindly take your seat. I'll put the question that the Sports Amendment number 2 bill, Senate Bills number 45 of 2024, be now read a second time. You may proceed to vote. Senator Onyonka and Senator Wafula, kindly proceed to dispatch and cast your vote. Now, honorable senators, we are moving to order number 12, and I'll put the question. Senator Wakili and Senator Boni, take your seats. I proceed to put the question that the Creative Economy Bill, Senate Bill number 30 of 2024, be now read a second time. You may proceed to vote. Senator Mundigi and Senator Morango, proceed on dispatch and Honorable Senator Wafula. Honorable Senators, we'll now move to order number 13, and I'll proceed to put the question. Senator Morango and Senator Chute. That the Cooperatives Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2024, be now read a second time. You may now proceed to vote. Senator Oburu, Senator Abbas, and Senator Wafula. Proceed to dispatch and cast your vote. Now, Honorable Order, Senator Mundigi and the Senator Fernandi. The result for the division are as follows. For order number 8, the ayes are 28 and the noes 0, abstention 0. So the ayes have it. For order number 9, the ayes are 28, nays at 0, abstention at 0. So the ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the equitable division of revenue raised nationally between the national and county governments in the 2025-2026 financial year and for connected purposes.
For order number 10, the result is as follows. Ayes are 28, nays at 0, abstention 0. So the ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Sports Act and for connected purposes.
The results for order number 11, ayes 28, nays 0, abstention 0. So the ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Sports Act to create county academies of sports to protect minors in sports and for connected purposes.
The results of the division on order number 12, ayes are 28, nays 0, abstention 0. So the ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to establish mechanisms for the support of persons in creative industry, to enhance the contribution of creative industry to the economy, to establish the Creatives Fund, and for connected purposes.
The resultant division on order number 13, ayes 28, nays 0, abstention 0. So the ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to establish the Office of Commissioner for Cooperative Development at the national level and the Office of the County Director for Cooperatives in each county government to provide for promotion, registration, and regulation of cooperatives, to provide for intergovernmental cooperative relations, and for connected purposes.
Sergeant at Arms, you may now withdraw the bar and open the doors. Next order, clerk.
Order number 14, Committee of the Whole. The Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 10 of 2025. Who is helping?
Order, honorable members, and please do not leave the chamber. Let us take our seats. Majority Whip, Senator Sifuna, let us resume our seats.
You will move the amendments. Yeah, move. Chairman is not there. Where are they?
sawa. All right. Honorable members, order, honorable members. Kindly let's take our seats. Senator Chute and Senator Kisang. Senator Sotsi, let us take our seats. Members, we are now in the Committee of the Whole on the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 10 of 2025. We will go for division at the end, but we will first of all go through the clauses. I will start with clause number 3.
Clause 3.
Clause 3, honorable senators, I propose the question that clause 3 be part of the bill and ask the mover, the chairperson, Standing Committee on Finance and Budget, Senator Boni Halwale.
Mr. Chairman, I propose that it be amended as it is on the order paper.
I now propose the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed, and I put the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed. Division at the end. Next.
Clauses 4 and 5.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clauses 4 and 5 be part of the bill, and I put the question that clauses 4 and 5 be part of the bill. Division at the end.
The schedule.
Honorable members, I propose the question that the schedule be part of the bill and direct the mover, the chairperson, Standing Committee on Finance and Budget, to move.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the bill be amended by deleting the schedule and substituting, therefore, the following new clause as on the order paper.
I now propose the question that the schedule be amended as proposed, and I put the question that the schedule be amended as proposed. Division at the end.
Clauses 2, the title, and clause 1.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 2, the title, and clause 1 be part of the bill, and I put the question that clause 2, the title, and clause 1 be part of the bill. Division at the end. Now, honorable members, we are immediately going to proceed for division. Before that, I direct the bell be rung for 5 minutes for us to get the numbers to proceed to division. Sergeant at Arms, ring the quorum bell for 5 minutes. Situngenda zote.
Mambo ya broad based ni vizuri. Unaona watu wa opposition wanatufanyia kazi. Sisi tunakula tu mshahara ya kule.
This thing is not there. Yeah. We now have quorum members. Sergeant at Arms, please close the door and draw. Close the door and draw the bar. Sergeant at Arms. Senators, order, honorable members. Honorable members, take your seats. Honorable senators, take your seats.
Be amended as proposed. You can't put them together. You can't put them together. If one fails, itakuwa mbaya. Give them a choice. What if we agree? It's okay. Don't worry. Just say don't put clause 3 in the schedule. Just put clause 3 be amended.
Clause 3 be amended. Clause 4 and 5.
Don't put them together. Usipanic, just put Sabrina clauses only as proposed. Apply and then that. The schedule be amended as proposed. And then that clause 3 as amended. And then aki-announce results, unaweza weka that reading. 4 and 5, the schedule. Clause 2, the title, and clause 1. Be part of the bill.
Ilipotea.
Be part of the bill.
Now, honorable members, we are ready to proceed to vote. Senator Sifuna, Senator Wambua, Senator Kisang, let's take our seats. You now may proceed to log out from your stations. And the Sergeant at Arms to take away cards from unattended delegate units. Honorable senators, log out. Order, Majority Leader. Order. So, And this would be the second question. Senators, we are now going to proceed to vote, and I'll put the question. I'll proceed to put the question that Clause 3 be amended as proposed. Clause 3 be amended as proposed. You may now proceed to vote. This one. Imefika 25. To vote. already voted. Mwenza hayuko. Kajwang is not in. Honorable members, we are now proceeding to the next clause, and I put the question that the schedule be amended as proposed. Order, honorable senators. I put the question that the schedule be amended as proposed. You may proceed to vote. Senator Kisang, take your seat and vote. Nimekuona.
Print majina kwanza ndio tuone ni nani hajavote.
Print another copy. Angela, confirm.
Be careful, kuna clause 3 mahali.
Senator Joe Newton, approach the desk to vote.
Yes, amevote.
Your name.
Vote kama ni yes na signature.
Weka no. We now proceed to the next. I put this question on all clauses. I put the question that clause 3 as amended, clause 4, clause 5, the schedule as amended, clause 2, the title, and clause 1 be part of the bill. Honorable members, you may now proceed to vote. Order, honorable members, we now have the results of the division, and I will announce the results. For the first division, ayes 31. Order, honorable members. Senator Mofaya, take your seat, please. These are the results of division senators. For the first division, ayes 31, nays 0, abstention 0. The ayes have it. On the second division, ayes 31, nays 0, abstentions 0. The ayes have it. And lastly, on the third division, ayes 31, nays 0, abstentions 0. The ayes have it. I now call upon the mover. Now the chairperson is present, Senator Boni Halwale. Order, honorable members. The chairperson or Senator Boni Halwale.
Mr. Chairman, sir, I beg to move that the committee do report to the Senate its consideration of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Bills number 10 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I now put the question that the committee do report to the Senate its consideration of the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 10 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments. Now, will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, kindly don't leave the chamber. We have another division, the last one. Let's have on Senator Chute. Senator Olsotsi, I don't know what the campaign you have this afternoon. Let's go to the reporting of the bill. Chairperson, Senator Sigay.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole has considered the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 10 of 2025, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Mover.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the House doth agree with the committee in the said report.
I beg you, pardon? What did you say?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the House doth agree with the committee in the said report.
Now give the majority leader to move, because now you are misleading us with your endorsement.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Speaker, sir,
the mover is the majority leader. Let him do his work.
Mr. Speaker, sir,
the
correct reading is doth, not do.
Now
it's doth. The House so informed.
This afternoon, I am not ready for any lessons. I'm not doing any lessons. Majority leader.
Aye. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I request Senator Wambua to...
Senator Wambua.
The Speaker is second.
Proceed to a seat. Senator Mboni. I propose the question that the House do agree with the committee in the Senate report. I put the question that the House do agree with the committee in the Senate report. As many as of the similar opinion say aye. As many as of contrary opinion say nay. There is have it. Over.
Speaker, I beg to move that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2025, be now read a third time. I request Senator Githuku Kamau to second.
Senator Githuku.
Thank you, Chair. I second.
I propose the question that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 10 of 2025, be now read at that time. I thought there is a senator who wants to give an input. So I put the question that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 10 of 2025, be now read at that time. Yeah, we are going to the division. Oh, sorry. Do we have numbers or will we ring the quorum bell for 2 minutes? 2 minutes is okay. Let's sanitize the process. Sanjay Tatams, ring the quorum bell for 2 minutes. And also, you take out the unattended cans. Meanwhile, you can now close the doors and draw the bar. And then senators, honorable senators, proceed to vote. You can now vote. No, you are not voting on your phones, kindly senators. Proceed to vote. No. Senator Chute and your group, I hope you are voting, eh? Senator Boni, you're out of order. You know, you're out of order. You shouldn't be lended to vote and being very attentive. Eh? Senator Oburu Odinga, Senator Onyonka, and Senator Mungatana approach the table. Honorable Senators, these are the results of the division. Ayes 31, nays 0, abstention 0. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the equitable division of revenue raised nationally between the national and county governments in the 2025-2026 financial year and for connected purposes.
You can now open the doors and withdraw the bars. Honorable Senators, Honorable Senators, Senator Mofaya. Honorable Senators, we reorganize the business of the day. We defer under 15, 16, and 17. Now we go to order number 18. Clerk.
Order number 18, motion, consideration of the report of the Standing Committee on Health on a petition to the Senate by Ms. Mercy Chepchichir regarding the alleged medical negligence and staff incompetence, which led to the death of Ms. Anita Jepkorir at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. Resumption of debate.
Very well. Senator Andy Gichelo. Okay. Senator Chalagay Samson.
Thank you.
Are you on the queue? Maybe on another matter?
Thank you, Chair. I don't know why Senator Sifuna is uncomfortable about nurses, yet he was proud of them the other day. Mr. Speaker, I raised to support the motion yesterday, consideration on the report by the alleged negligence of Mercy that led to the death of Mrs. Anita Chepkorir at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. Mr. Speaker, as I rise to support this motion, I want to pass my deepest condolences to the family and friends on the death of Anita Chepkorir, which unfortunately happened in 2021 due to medical negligence at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, remember this young girl was only 6 years old, full of life, but because of medical negligence, Mr. Speaker, we lost her. And it is because of medical negligence where the doctors at that hospital failed to locate the foreign body that had been swallowed by her, Mr. Speaker. So this is sad, and medical negligence is becoming a predominant problem, especially in our hospital institutions, Mr. Speaker. And the procedure that was performed, Speaker, did not, and in the process of doing surgical procedures, Mr. Speaker, sir, the doctors led by Dr. Odingo and the team that did the operation, Mr. Speaker, did not remove the foreign body, but they end up accidentally removing tooth, which they end up removing, and therefore that foreign body remained within the lungs even after bronchoscopy and thoracotomy, Mr. Speaker. They were not able to remove, and therefore with time it led to very serious pneumonia that led to the death, unfortunately, of Anita Chepkorir, Mr. Speaker. So this was clear violation. You know, under Article 43, Mr. Speaker, of the Constitution, every Kenyan has a right to affordable, quality health care. And as much as we celebrate medical practitioners in this country, they do a lot, Mr. Speaker. They do a lot in Meru County hospitals. They do a lot in Migori, in Nandi, in Nyandarua. We know what the challenge is, Mr. Speaker. I remember, and I know, in as much as we are blaming that they were medical negligence, Mr. Speaker, I know the challenges our medical practitioners go through. Some of them, like UHC, Universal Health Coverage, Mr. Speaker, some of them are yet to be confirmed under permanent and pensionable, which is still very unfortunate. Yet during the COVID-19, Mr. Speaker, they were the only people who rose and fought COVID pandemic, while the guns, the bullets, the heavy artillery stayed in barracks. But it's only the UHC staff. Mr. Speaker, I am happy that today I have seen the comments from the chairperson of Finance and Budget in the Budget in the National Assembly, the member of Aleko Usonga, that they will budget for the absorption of permanent and pensionable of UHC staff and also payment of gratuity and ensure proper and clear transfer of services of UHC staff to county governments across the nation. So that is the issue I was saying yesterday, Mr. Speaker, that let us be fair to our medical staff. So, Speaker, I once visited Maraba Sub-County Hospital. Do you realize they don't have PEEPs, protective equipments, personnel, Mr. Speaker? I visited one of the rooms which they do cesarean section at the Maraba Sub-County Hospital in Maraba Township, and it was very sad that they don't have even gloves, Mr. Speaker. They don't have protective gear, even as they perform surgical procedure of CS to our mothers across that area of Maraba. Even when you go to Nandales Hospital, come to Kapsabet, I visited, even the services, even Morsoria Sub-County, you go there, you visit the kitchen. Mr. Speaker, when I visited the kitchen of Morsoria Sub-County Hospital, it was very embarrassing. It is very dirty. You could see cockroaches walking and doing a catwalk in Morsoria Sub-County Hospital, where our food for the sick should be met, Mr. Speaker, even the clubs. So I know our medical practitioners will always have a challenge, especially with the issue of health in this country. Mr. Speaker, on this case of the medical negligence of Anita Chepkorir in Moi Teaching and Referral, Mr. Speaker, you have to appreciate that apart from Kenyatta National Hospital, there are other 2 referral hospitals outside the city. Is only Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. It is very sad, Mr. Speaker, when you listen to this story, that even the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital management and even the people who did operation led by Dr. Odingo and company did not have even the humane, that empathy towards the parents of the 6-year-old daughter, Ms. Anita Chepkorir. So, Speaker, I know, you know, in as much as sometimes some deaths are not preventable. On this case, it was preventable. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that the Health Committee, led by Senator Mandago, who happens to hail from the same county where this death happened, and I think at that time he was the governor of Wazingishu, because it was in 2021. So, Speaker, it is very unfortunate that there was a disjointed communication between the patient and post-care, and even during operation, Mr. Speaker. It was noted that Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, which is one of the biggest referral hospitals outside Nairobi, have a poor record keeping. Say that the people who admitted and released the girl, Mr. Speaker, did not even, there was no proper trailing of the records since when the patient was admitted, during the surgical procedure, during the recovery period, and even during post-care and after-care after the patient was released from the hospital. It is very embarrassing. With the era of technology, I would have expected Senator Mandago-led Health Committee to indicate that and even call out Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital for having a very poor record keeping with the current technology. In fact, these young people who are insulting and demeaning and criticizing leaders on social media, Mr. Speaker,
If we can rechannel the energy, we can give them a job in Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital to prepare health records so that we are not embarrassed by these deaths that occurred out of medical negligence. So I would have expected in this report led by Senator Mandago to indicate that Moi Teaching and Referral must be called out for poor record keeping. Because with the click of the button, with the era of technology, it should have been easy to do referrals and ensure that this patient was well taken care of. This is a death that is preventable, Mr. Speaker. It should not have happened. So in these recommendations and this lack of breakdown of communication, it should have been looked, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this issue of recovery, in fact, when you read the report, Dr. Odingo and company, and even aftercare services after the surgery when the young girl was released, no one did refer to the team that did the surgery. Even they didn't do even review of even doing a CT scan after the surgery. Yet the foreign substance was still within the body that later caused the pneumonia, Mr. Speaker, and later killed the young girl who was only 6 years. As we empathize and sympathize with the family, it should not happen in a modern day Kenya. You know, we can pray. The day was National Prayer Breakfast. We can pray, but some things, we must do it before praying, Mr. Speaker. We must work hard to ensure that, and therefore, I hope as the committee looks at this report of the Health Committee, they should amend and ensure Moi Teaching and Referral comes up with the organized, technology, savvy, proper keeping of records in the hospital, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, quickly, so that I can seed ground for my colleagues to also, it is also sad because under Article 40, human rights is a basic right, that the police by the mother, by the name Mercy Chepchirchir, was ignored. And Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital has a public relations department. The complaints and the pleas by the victim or the complainant were ignored until she had to seek refuge at the Senate, Mr. Speaker. We must be told, I expected in this report by the health to recommend administrative action against Public Relations Office of Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret to tell us why did they ignore. So, Speaker, imagine you are a parent. All of us are parents here. I don't know about Medu, but all of us who are parents, and also Senator Eddy, I'm not aware whether they are parents or not, unless they go on record to tell us they are. Mr. Speaker, all of us are parents. We know the pain of losing a child. Imagine that when she wanted to complain before the hospital, Mr. Speaker, there was no even empathy to listen to. This is somebody's child we have lost, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I expected the Health Committee to recommend that administrative action must be taken against public relations officers and any person who deals with relations of public, Mr. Speaker, at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. Mr. Speaker, that is the only list we could do. I can imagine if this is Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, how many hospitals have lost their lives? I remember a case in Isero, Mr. Speaker. There is a girl who delivered properly in Kabiet and she was later brought to Mosoriat where she bled to death. The county government of Nandi did little or nothing to even give counseling or even that listening here for the complaint against negligence where she had gone to deliver and there was a botched cesarean section procedure, Mr. Speaker. So I want to call upon that we must be empathic, even in this report. And I hope there is members of health in this committee. So, Speaker, even in this report, they have not recommended for socio-psychological support to the parent. Because after losing the child, they can even go into stress. They can go even they can even develop some stress and even, Mr. Speaker, they can even have suicidal thoughts. This is somebody who has lost a child, Mr. Speaker. So I hope in the future, and this is my advice to the committees, Mr. Speaker, you are aware in the Constitution, you are one of the long-serving members of Parliament in this House. The Senate and Parliament enjoys the High Court status. So whenever we make recommendations, we must make recommendations like the High Court. Mr. Speaker, let's quickly go to the recommendations that this committee did develop. I'm happy, but I'm sad. What the committee recommended is sweet and sour, like the Chinese dish. trying to run away from this responsibility and then apportioning blame. So, Speaker, the reading of Section 20 of the Medical Practitioners Dentist Act, Cap 253, Section 20 as revised in 2012 and 2019, is very clear on disciplinary procedures. One of the grounds, Mr. Speaker, is you can caution, you can issue caution, or you can reprimand. You can also, Mr. Speaker, order remedial cases for doctors or medical practitioners. I expected, after the procedure was done, Mr. Speaker, do you know 2 procedures was done? Trichotomy and another one related to brachiotomy, Mr. Speaker. 2 was done, but they never removed the foreign body. It means the doctors led by Dr. Odingo and company, that the surgical team, Mr. Speaker, they must be ordered to go back for remedial training. Because after 2 procedures, they could not trace the foreign body in that young girl. You can imagine the pain that she underwent during surgical process, Mr. Speaker. So one of the recommendations, which I didn't see after Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council did not notice, to recommend the remedial. Because, God forbid, how many patients has gone through their hands and negligence as this, Mr. Speaker. Even they were supposed to even suspend the license of these doctors and medical team, including nurses, Mr. Speaker. They should even have what we call penalties and fines, because under Section 20 of Medical Practitioners and Dentists Act, Cap 253, and as revised in 2019. And I know Senator Dr. Boni Khalwala understands this. There must have been proper, Mr. Speaker, penalty. We should have had a fine against this medical team. One is caution, another one is reprimand, another one is even I would have expected a probation. They should have done a probation, Mr. Speaker, for this medical team, including the team leader, Dr. Odingo and company. They should have been taken for probation even 6 months for remedial courses, and also being supervised by Kenya Medical and Dentist Practitioners Council, Mr. Speaker, so that we are certain, if today this report is public, if today a patient is supposed to go through under procedure of a team led by Dr. Odingo, do you still, Mr. Speaker, have the confidence that the procedure will be successful, Mr. Speaker? So the reading of Section 20 on medical and practitioners dentist Act 253 is very clear on disciplinary. I would have expected that this should have been done. Mr. Speaker, number 3, establish clear protocols of surgical procedure. I agree that they must be clear so that, Mr. Speaker, I'm told in the second operation, and whether Senator Khalwala will tell us this, in the second operation, there was no consent from the family or the guardian. They did second operation without the consent of the family. This is a clear violation and a clear criminal medical negligence, Mr. Speaker. How can you perform a procedure without the consent of the guardian or the family? The law is very clear. And that is why I'm saying Section 20 of Medical Practitioners and Dentists Act, Cap 253, should have come heavy, with big, and ensure that there was at least proper punishment. But saying disciplinary procedures to be reviewed, investigate professional conduct, Mr. Speaker says that after the disciplinary action, the only recourse is after 30 days you can appeal to High Court, Mr. Speaker, as per the law. And therefore, I think that on the issue of medical procedures, surgical, it must be followed so that we ensure that critical medical procedures are all taken care of. I hope this medical negligence of Anita should be the last one. You saw Dr. Chacha of Kenyatta National Hospital. He was a doctor in Kenyatta National Hospital, but he could not be treated because he doesn't have money. Yet he is the doctor who was doing, who was working in Kapsabet, not Kapsabet, Kenyatta National Hospital referral, Mr. Speaker. When you look even at the patient advocacy, I disagree with this recommendation. You cannot tell us that the patient advocacy, that Moi Teaching a referral hospital should have been the one to advocate for the rights of the victim. Yet we know very well this is a conflict of interest direct. How can you expect an advocate, patient advocacy within, Mr. Speaker, to come up and support, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, this motion and this report, I agree with recommendations, but we must be in future ensure, and I want to appeal to Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union, Council, KMPDC, must come back and ensure that they arrest the rising cases of criminal medical negligences in our facilities, Mr. Speaker. We are losing so many mothers during CS procedures in most of our facilities. When my mother goes to give birth, you are told she underwent a CS, then complications arose, then they die, Mr. Speaker. It cannot be. The KMPDC must come to the rescue of Kenyans. I know in every profession there are crooks and within the profession, including even my own profession of the Law Society, even in engineers, even in doctors and medical practitioners, even in structural engineers. But we must punish so that we don't lose lives. You know, Mr. Speaker, and I've been saying this. You know, when you're handling human life, it is so sensitive. Because when you lose somebody, you never recover them. Other things, like when a building collapses, you can rebuild. When a road stalls, you can rebuild, Mr. Speaker. So even as we pray for this nation, in the National Prayer Breakfast, we must confront serious challenges that is facing this nation, including medical negligence, including corruption, including bad governance, including poor development, Mr. Speaker. And that is why you can see, Mr. Speaker, the governor of Trans Nzoia was charged the other day, and one of the court orders say you cannot access the office. Today he was in office. So there is impunity in this country. He was in office, saying Odoma Mashinani office. Yet the courts rule in the court order that he should not step in the office of the governor until the corruption allegation of 1.2 billion is cleared or is upheld, Mr. Speaker. This is a country of impunity, where somebody wakes up, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the president because he was gracious today. I would have expected my majority whip will do that, but let me do the honors. I want to thank the president for requesting for forgiveness from Tanzania, from our neighbors, including Uganda, and also for forgiveness from Gen Zs, Mr. Speaker. It takes a real leader to request for forgiveness. And I can assure you, and I want to call upon that now that the president has requested and prayed that we forgive each other, as a nation we forgive each other and move forward, Mr. Speaker, so that we can have one nation. I want to appeal to Tanzania's members of parliament that even if English is not their priority, they should not also insult us in Kiswahili. We are also telling them, let us have one united East African nation where we are proud of, Mr. Speaker. And that is what I want to appeal as we go into the future. With this motion, Mr. Speaker, let us ensure that we finish issues of medical negligence in this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, with that indulgence, and I support this motion on this matter, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Next is Senator Okech Andy.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. And this is one of those hardest motions to contribute to. Because, Mr. Speaker, one life lost in the hands of caregivers, in the hands of places of recourse in a country like Kenya today is way too many. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, allow me to, above everything I'll say today, to first of all pass my deepest condolences to the family of Miss Anita Chepkorir, who died in Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, unfortunately, in the hands of caregivers. Mr. Speaker, I must say that one of the people that I celebrate the most in our borders, because I've been in the hands of caregivers, of doctors, of nurses, of clinicians, who have worked tirelessly to make sure that when we get into those states of sickness or we're in hospital, we come back home safe. I think that what happened at MTRH is very unfortunate because there are those caregivers who work every single day to tirelessly make sure that we are safe as Kenyans. And they do this with zeal and zest. And sometimes, Mr. Speaker, even despite the fact that our country hasn't given them the best compensation, support, and care to even sometimes be able to get the same medical support that they give us. Mr. Speaker, you will understand that doctors today in Kenya sometimes cannot even afford the insurance to be able to get the health care that the people that they give do get. So in no way is this a small matter. And Mr. Speaker, I'm drawn to the attention of this petition by virtue of the petition was actually not a random petition. This petition was sent to this house by one Ms. Mercy Cherono, who actually reported to the Senate of Kenya on this issue on 10th July 2024. That was last year when this petition was brought to us. So first of all, I want to thank her, because without her, we could not have been able to know what happened to this promising soul of Miss Anita, who unfortunately lost her life in the course of getting attention at the MTRH. But Mr. Speaker, what is even more wanting that today I wanted to talk about is how many people and how many cases, perhaps, Mr. Speaker, are unreported. How many deaths could we be having in our different institutions and medical facilities that are not reported? Mr. Speaker, I had an advantage of studying in the US. And in the US, every year, on average, you'll find about 600,000 cases of deaths reported in hospitals that the cause of those deaths, if you were to rank them at any given time, this is one of the countries that has made very strong strides in terms of medical advancement. Mr. Speaker, at any given time, you'll find that the third largest cause of death in the United States is always medical errors. And those medical errors, Mr. Speaker, in a world-leading economy, have actually become a public health threat, a public health problem. So when this petition was brought to us, Mr. Speaker, I wondered if in the United States we can end up having this issue of medical errors in facilities of medical attention becoming a third leading cause of death. What about in our borders, where, Mr. Speaker, if it's not for somebody like Ms. Mercy Cherono bringing this to the attention of the Senate, then what happens in our hospitals, Mr. Speaker? So therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to belabor because this happened, and indeed I still strongly believe that even though the recommendations here have called for compensation for Ms. Chep Korir's family, Mr. Speaker, compensation cannot be enough to this family. Compensation can never be enough to bring back this life that was very, very important and promising, Mr. Speaker. But I think that more can be done in terms of just ensuring that there is more transparency, there is more accountability in terms of being able to arrest the number of deaths that could actually be happening in our medical facilities without our watch and without our knowledge as lawmakers and even as citizenry of this country, Mr. Speaker. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to spend a little bit of time that I wished the courage to this committee that apart from just dealing with this one case that might easily pass as an isolated case after our debates will have subsided and after
we will have adopted this report so that, you know, the investigations that were done professionally here will have tried to hold the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital to account. I think that the question that would be with us to ask is how can we make sure that we have a more comprehensive risk analysis of what is going on in our borders with regards to this kind of medical errors and gross negligence that happens in our medical institutions, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I wish that this report could have forced the institution in question, the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, to further provide the different medical errors and medical negligence cases that they might have had in the past, and make sure that we as a country can juxtapose this with the kind of impact it might have had in this hospital in terms of patient care. Because, Mr. Speaker, whatever happened in Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital should be actually a case study that any other hospital in the country, and not only referral hospitals and level 6 hospitals, but even the lower cadre hospitals should be able to glean some morals from, if there is any moral to glean in the first place. The second thing, Mr. Speaker, what happened that got the attention of the Senate on this one case should be an issue that we must look at in terms of what laws do we have in this country that we can be able to get from this report in terms of how we arrest reporting systems by clinical providers on the medical errors that happens in hospitals. And I know that Senior Boni Alwale, who was once very good doctor and practicing, will tell you that this idea of getting these reports involves a strategy that is informed by law. So it will be very important, Mr. Speaker, that we don't just have our sight in dealing with one institution and in holding that one institution to account, but also holding ourselves to account as lawmakers, that for the first time we can put in place laws that are implementable in terms of actually putting up strategies that will ensure that when medical errors arise in hospitals, because this is a question where, Mr. Speaker, a medical error happens, then a misdiagnosis follows, then handling of this patient continues to suffer subsequent errors until she meets her death, Mr. Speaker. It means that there's a very serious substantive problem of recording and reporting of a medical error from first instance to the last instance by not only the doctors in question, but also the clinical providers, Mr. Speaker. And that is something that we must examine as a House from this case study and ensure that we can be able to put serious laws that will ensure that when a medical error occurs, when a medical problem such as this occurs, then it is properly recorded and arrested before subsequent handling of a patient. And this should not only happen in Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, but it should happen across all our hospitals in the country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am worried because this is one of those cases of an adverse event. For the medical people in the House, they will understand that there is always a difference between adverse events in terms of medical errors, there is sentinel events, and there is active events as well as just latent errors that sometimes happen, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the reason why I bring this is because if we do not put up proper laws that can be able to arrest all these kind of events that happen in our hospitals, There are those that might not lead to death, but still lead to a patient getting into a serious problem in their lives, Mr. Speaker. And those sometimes can go unattended to in terms of just being able to ensure that a patient is at a hospital, and then they have got further complications in life, Mr. Speaker. This includes things like infection that can happen because of just negligence and medical errors in terms of perhaps handling just a simple medical procedure. And Mr. Speaker, if all these are not captured, then we are having a sick nation. A sick nation that, if it's not an adverse event that led to death, then any other complication doesn't matter. When it actually should matter that when you leave a medical institution, you should have a better off life than when you went there. So my worry here, Mr. Speaker, is that if we do not have a proper response in terms of a legal framework that allows for this reporting, then what we are having is that if there is no situation whereby somebody has died, then any other complication won't matter. And it is important that this recommendation that we are seeing from the Health Committee should actually inform us in terms of our action as policymakers to ensure that we can be able to arrest other form of medical errors that could lead to other complications that are not only death scenarios. Mr. Speaker, this also calls on us as policymakers, as legislators, and as government, Mr. Speaker, to rethink the kind of collaborative platform that we try to put for interprofessional teams in our entire Medicare. And Mr. Speaker, this is where I passionately come again on this floor to talk about the issue of universal health care workers, Mr. Speaker. Sometimes, Mr. Speaker, it's very easy for political leaders to just make reckless statements that, oh, we don't have money to take care of universal health care workers, we don't have money to mainstream you into permanent and pensionable contracts, we don't have money to put you into the payroll of counties and follow that with money. Saying that is very simple, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, have you ever taken just a pause to think about any level of hospital in your community, in your county, in your constituency, whether a dispensary or a level 1 or level 2 or level 3, it doesn't matter. And just think about, after any kind of medical procedures, who ends up handling your clinical waste? What is the life of that person who ends up picking the clinical waste from the point where the waste is given to the last where the waste is disposed, Mr. Speaker? And where are those wastes disposed? Think about the ecosystem of clinicians, the nurses, the pharmacists, the education specialists, the simple lab technician, anybody who is handling any kind of medical issues in the hospital, Mr. Speaker. If we don't think about this as an entire ecosystem that needs collaboration among all people who are interprofessionals in these dockets, Mr. Speaker, then medical errors are bound to happen in any way that leaves our nation, a sick nation, worse off than when people get to hospitals, Mr. Speaker. So I wish that, Mr. Speaker, we can be able to listen as a country. When our doctors say that they don't have proper payment, we must listen to them. When our universal health care workers say that they don't have enough pay, enough compensation to make them be able to work in these medical institutions, Mr. Speaker, we must be able to listen to them. We must be able to support them, because it is lack of that investment, commensurate investment in these interprofessional teams, that then sometimes lead to some of these errors that are very costly, that lead us to a number of deaths that are never reported. If there was nobody who ever brought this petition to Senate, Mr. Speaker, perhaps we could have never heard about this Ms. Anita's demise in our borders. So I want to encourage us as a people, and mostly the National Assembly teams that usually have got control over putting money in different institutions, including in the healthcare system, that for once, listen to the entire ecosystem. Don't just think that when you solve the issue of doctors, then the issue of medical provision is solved. Or when you solve the issue of nurses, then the entire issue is solved. This is an entire ecosystem that every single person who works in our hospitals, from the sweeper, to the person who feeds us, to the person who handles clinical waste, to the person who brings medicine, to the pharmacist, all these interprofessional teams are important, that we must invest in them, and we must be able to make sure that there is no chance for error in a place where people go to actually get recourse to get better health care. I support this report, Mr. Speaker, but I hope that other institutions will be able to glean some lessons from what happened here, and if possible, we all work together to avoid such kind of losses in the lives of our people. And most importantly, we must hold MRTH properly to account. I support Mr. Speaker, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Senator Mudigi Alexander.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa ruhusa niweze kuchangia mjadala ambayo unaendelea kulingana na uchunguzi ulifanywa na kamati ya afya kuhusu mtoto ambaye alifariki katika Moi Referral Hospital. Bwana Spika, ningeomba, mambo mengi tumeweza kuyasikia katika Kenya kwa hii mfumo wa serikali ya Kenya Kwanza, na wakati huu Bwana Spika ni wakati tumekuwa tukipigania mambo ya wizara zote, na katika Kenya wizara ya afya iwe ikipata pesa nyingi kuliko wizara zile zingine zote katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Bwana Spika, wakati huu ni wakati katika ulimwengu mambo ya afya inaangaliwa, na ndio naona katika Kenya serikali ya Kenya Kwanza mambo mengi imekuwa ikirekebisha. Iwe SHA itakuwa ikifanya kazi usiku na mchana, ndio kila mtu ambaye ameshaliwa katika dunia aweze kukaa maisha ile nafaa, kwa sababu tunajua insa ngambo mambo ya afya hata inakuanga inaangaliwa kuliko kila kitu, wakati mtu amesaliwa mpaka wakati ameseeka na mpaka wakati ametoka katika ulimwenguni. Bwana Spika, tunajua mtu akigojeka, hata mimi nikigojeka saa hii nikianguka hapa kidogo, isipokuwa niweze kusaidiwa na daktari ama ule mtu wako karibu, unakuta mambo ya kuzaliwa na hiyo ingine ni mambo ya kifo. Bwana Spika, ni hii ripoti tunaichangia iende ikawa tunaweza kuichangia, na mimi nahusunika naye sana, kwa sababu Bwana Spika, iende ikawa katika Kenya hii ripoti hii ni mtu mmoja ambaye kitendo ilifanyika Bwana Spika katika Kenya mzima. Tunajua katika Kenya hii ilikuwa Referral Hospital. Katika Kenya hii ni hospitali moja ya zile kubwa sana katika Kenya, lakini tunajua Bwana Spika kuna zingine kutoka Referral mpaka chini kuna hospitali siko masinani. Bwana Spika, tunaweza kujiuliza, je, katika kama hii ilikuwa ni hospitali kubwa katika masinani kule kwa mwananchi, ni watu wangapi wameteseka, ni watu wangapi wameumia, ni watoto wangapi wamesaliwa, ni watu wangapi wamegojeka Bwana Spika, na watu wa kuwasaidia. Bwana Spika, tunajua wakati huu ni wakati ambaye kuna shinda ya hela, ni wakati mahospitali inahitaji pesa. Nakumbuka Bwana Spika, jana ile pesa tulikuwa napitisha ilikuwa moja katika ni mambo ya kulipa madaktari ambaye ni pesa wamechelewa, lakini Bwana Spika, ningeomba mpaka tuangalie nikiongea kuhusu madaktari mpaka tuwe na hutu ya undaktari, kwa sababu madaktari wakubwa na wadogo ni kama huwa tukiomba tunaamini Bwana Spika ni kama Mungu wa pili, kwa sababu hata kama kuna dawa zimetengenezwa na binadamu huwa tunaomba Mungu asaidie, na pia aguse daktari, naye daktari ajue binadamu amegonjeka upande gani ama atapatiwa dawa namna gani. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, naomba tuweze kuangalia, ndio hii usunguzi umefanywa iweze kutoa laini na pia ukweli iweze kuonekana na pia hii familia iweze kuhudumiwa na njia ile inafaa. Bwana Spika, tunajua iende ikawa pesa itapatikana, familia itapatiwa pesa, lakini Bwana Spika, hii ni uhai imeondoka na itaweza kurudi katika ulimwengu. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, tunafaa tujiangalie tukiwa human being, either ni daktari ama ni mtu wa aina gani. Daktari ni mtu wa muhimu. Na Bwana Spika, ukikumbuka karibu miezi 2 kwa hii Senate pale kwa Ngiti, madaktari wamekuwa akikuja, tumekuwa tukiongea nao. Kwa hivyo hata kama tunajua matatizo wako nayo ni mambo ya hela, ningeomba madaktari ambaye wenye ujuzi ni tunamuomba muweze kuwa mkiangalia binadamu, kwa sababu pia hata kama mnalipwa pesa haitoshi ile kazi mnafanya. Kwa hiyo mpaka muwe na ile roho ya Mungu, muwe mkisaidia binadamu, kwa sababu kuna matatizo. Bwana Spika, ukiangalia kuna ugonjwa nyingi katika ulimwengu, binadamu wako na shinda, wako na stress, wako na hii, na ndio nasema Bwana Spika, hata kama hii familia itapata pesa, hakuna kitu itakuwa imefaidika naye, lakini ningetaka tuweze kuangalia na njia ile inafaa. Madaktari hata kama wako na shinda waweze kuangaliliwa, ndio hospitali waweze kupata ndawa, wawe na vifaa ya kazi, wawe na kila kitu katika hospitali yetu ya county. Kwa sababu Bwana Spika, masinani kuna shinda nyingi. Mangavanasi wako na shinda. Wizara iko na shinda. Na serikali ya Kenya Kwanza, Bwana Spika, nakumbuka miezi 2 iliyopita ilileta waziri wa afya ambaye tunaona vile anajaribu kulainisha maneno ya mambo ya afya. Hapo nakumbuka karibu wiki 2 iliyopita kuna director general ambaye ameajiriwa ndio juu ya afya. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, ni mambo mengi sana inafaa iangaliwe. Hata kama pesa asiko nyingi, ningeomba utu daktari wote, aidha ni daktari mkubwa, aidha ni daktari mdogo, aidha uko kazi usiku ama kazi mchana, uweze kuangalia mambo ya binadamu. Kwa sababu hii kisanga ni ile nakumbuka Bwana Spika miezi 2 iliyopita katika Embu County hospitali kidogo ambaye ni level 3 hospital. Nakumbuka miezi 3 miezi 4 iliyopita kulikuwa na kisanga ingine, unakuta mama ingawa mtoto akufariki, hospitali inaitwa Kiritiri level 3 hospital ambaye wakati moja kukawa mama anataka kupata mtoto, daktari hakuwa karibu, askari hakuwa karibu, hakukuwa na stima, hakuwa na vitu nyingi. Kwa hivyo mambo ya ajabu, angarau ile mama alijifungua. Ningeomba, watu wengi wameteseka, hospitali nyingi, familia nyingi imeteseka, na iende ikawa kama hawa ni watu wakuwa na mafikira vile wataenda kustaki kitendo kama hii, lakini vitendo nyingi imefanyika Bwana Spika. Hata Bwana Spika, nakumbuka jana nikiangalia kwa mitandao, kuna kisanga ingine ilifanyika, unakuta ati kuna mama alikuwa anapata mtoto, ingawa sikumbuki jina lake, lakini bahati mzuri wakati alikuwa na akina mama wanampeleka hospitali, akalemewa kwa njia. Na bahati mzuri kulikuwa na kijana ambaye yule kijana ni kijana ambaye ako na familia Bwana Spika, lakini wakati alikuwa anaonyeshwa kwa TV alikuwa anasema Bwana Spika ati alikuwa anapeleka bibi yake hospitali, anaona vile anapata mtoto, anafanya operation, anafanywa hivi, na baadaye ile kijana alikimbia mambo ya ajabu. Ni vile hiyo video sijui si kukumbuka kuiangalia vizuri, lakini kijana akasema alikimbia kwa hospitali, lakini ikawa Bwana Spika mambo ya ajabu, ati ukawa daktari ako na kazi kubwa, lakini baadaye kijana akapatiwa vitu zote ya kufanya kazi, akaenda. Wale wakina mama Bwana Spika walikuwa karibu walitoroka, na ile kijana alijaribu na akasaidia ile mama na akapata ile mtoto. Ni watu wengi Bwana Spika wameteseka, akina mama na wale wajawazito, kwa sababu kitendo kama hii ya jana, watu wengi Bwana Spika hawajawahi kuhudhuria vile hospitali madaktari Bwana Spika wanafanya kazi, na wengine unajua wanaume wengine sisi hata kama ni wazee tuko na uoga. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, ni kumaanisha kama kitendo kama hiyo ilikuwa jana, ilikuwa kwa mitandao. Je, Bwana Spika, katika ulimwenguni huu na binadamu ameletwa na Mungu, Bwana Spika, kama mambo ya afya hayaangaliwa na njia ile inafaa, Bwana Spika, mambo ya ajabu katika Kenya, katika ulimwengu, ni watoto wangapi wangekuwa na kuwa wanafaa kuwa kama senata kama mimi ama spika kama wewe, ambaye wameondoka kwa katika ulimwenguni huu, kwa njia ambaye haifai, kwa sababu either mtoto amesaliwa kwa njia either katika. Bwana Spika, nataka nikumbushe katika Kenya yetu kuko na shinda. Wacha mambo ya daktari. Unakuta pahali ingine kama pahali bali na hospitali, unakuta parapara ni mbaya, unakuta mvua ikinyesha, mama ni mjamzito, anapata mtoto usiku, hakuna gari itamsaidia, hakuna bodaboda. Bwana Spika, mambo mengine hata kama tunaangalia, tunaomba serikali ya Kenya Kwanza iweze kupatia wizara ya sote pesa ndio hata parapara itengenezwe. Wakati mtoto yote mama ataka kuwa mjamzito, ukute pesa inapatikana, parapara itengenezwe mzuri, na pia hospitali nyingi mangavana nao waweze kupeleka wizara ya afya kule mashinani na mambo ya kusaidia. Lakini hapo mambo ya kusaidia pia na shukuru serikali juu ya mambo ya health promoters, Bwana Spika, wale wako mashinani na pia tunaona ile kazi wanafanya. Bwana Spika, pia nikumbusha mambo ya health promoters, hata jana tumepitisha pesa yao. Kwa hivyo katika Kenya mzima nataka kusema mambo ya health promoters, msijali, pesa yenu inakuja, allowance yenu mtalipwa, lakini namuomba mfanye kazi kulingana na vile Mungu ampatia njia ile nafana. Tunajua kuna shinda kwa sababu kunasemekana percentage 50 inatoka kwa county government, ingine 50 inatoka kwa national government, lakini pesa inakosekana. Lakini Bwana Spika, naomba wale watu wako mashinani katika hospitali zote, county government iweze kupatiwa pesa. Bwana Spika, ni kukumbusha, na ndivyo tunataka kusema mgao wa pesa ile inakuja wakati wa hii kipindi hii mwezi wa Juni. Tunasema Bwana Spika, kwa sababu kaunti nyingi hasina pesa ya kusaidia mambo ya parapara, mambo ya afya, mambo ya misahara, juu ya pesa ya kufanya kazi masinani na ile ministry nyingine, kwa sababu sisi masenata, Bwana Spika, hapa tunaongea mambo ya devolution, na ndio tunasema wakati mgao wa pesa itakuja, tunataka kuomba county zote ipatiwe pesa ile inafaa, Bwana Spika, na tumesema wiki inayokuja katika ile pesa county 47 tutakuwa nazo, ama ile itapitishwa na parliament. Tunasema Bwana Spika, county zile siko na shinda kama Hembu, kama Northeastern na zile zingine napata pesa kidogo, tuweze kuanza tuseme hakuna county itapata pesa kidogo kuliko bilioni 6, na tutasikizana kutoka bilioni 6, alafu hizo zingine tuweze kuona vile tutalete county pamoja. Kwa sababu unakumbuka Bwana Spika, tumeona hata county nyingi sana sinafanya kazi na siko pesa nyingi, lakini mambo ya audit, Bwana Spika, yaangaliwi. Kwa hivyo ningetaka kusema mambo ya transparency inatakikana katika devolution, katika serikali, na pia tumeweza kuona na watu wengi tukifanya hivyo watafaidika. Hata Bwana Spika, watoto wengine wanazaliwa bila kufikisha miezi ambayo ile inafaa. Unakuta Bwana Spika wengine wako miezi 7, miezi 8. Pia tunataka kusema Bwana Spika, mambo ya wazee, waheshimu ya kina mama, mambo ya vita. Unakuta mzee mama wako na mimba, lakini unakuta nyumbani ni stress kavu, mama ndiye anaenda kutafutia watoto wale wengine chakula, mama ndiye anaenda kuleta kila kitu. Lakini katika Kenya unakuta mambo ya kukosana akina mama na wazee, na mama ni mjamzito, mpaka hiyo Bwana Spika iweze kuangaliwa, na yule mama ndiye anatafuta chakula, yule mama ndiye anafanya kila kitu. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, ni mambo mengi sana inafaa iangaliwe ndiweze kusaidia akina mama wale wako na mimba ama wale wako na familia. Mambo mingi Bwana Spika inafaa iangaliwe. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, mimi nikiwa senator wa Embu County naunga mkono, lakini mpaka mambo mingi iangaliwe. Pia nikimalizia, hata kama huyu familia italipwa pesa haitasaidia, lakini ningeomba hata kama na kuko namna gani hiyo hospitali ama daktari hao wamefanya hii kitendo yote, tunajua mko na shinda na pesa, mko na shinda na misahara, mko na shinda mambo mengi, lakini kwa sababu mlikumbali kazi, mnafaa serikali isukuliwe hawa hatua ndio iwe funzo kwa madaktari wale wengine. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, ni mambo mengi inafaa iangaliwe. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, mimi nikiwa senator wa Embu County, Daktari Alexander Munyimo Ndigi, naunga mkono iweze kuangaliwa vile hii mambo itarainishwa. Ya mwisho Bwana Spika, ningeomba SHA inafanya kazi katika hospitali zote, ni watu wa Kenya wajiandikishe. Na pia tumeona, nikitaka kutoa ushuhuda, sisi maseneta na wenye siasa nikumbuka miezi 3 iliyopita mara mingi tulikuwa na harambee nyingi, lakini wakati imeenda ikipungua. Kwa hiyo nataka niambie watu wa Kenya, jameni, jiandikishe, muingie kwa SHA, na SHA inafanya kazi katika Kenya ndio tuweze kurainisha mambo ya afya, iwe hakuna malipo itakuwako. Kwa hiyo naomba nikimalizia, serikali injaribu mambo ya kansa, mambo ya kifua kikuu, mambo ya ugonjwa wa sukari, ukuti yote imekuwa ni free and fair na hakuna kitu mtu atakuwa analipa, na niyeko kwa serikali ya Kenya Kwanza. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, naunga mkono nikiwa Central County. Asante, ni mimi Senator Mudigi. Asante.
Senator Mudigi. Next is Senator Veronica Duarte. No, she's on duty. The Speaker does not follow your method.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for protecting me and giving me an opportunity to address the House. Maybe there is something the senators need to know. The Speaker could be nearing a moment where he needs support and relief on the chair. So maybe that's why he has tracked my request.
Veronica, you know they shouldn't be knowing that you are one of the speakers who chairs this session.
Yes, I'm being polite.
No, Senator Kavin, you're out of order.
Honorable Speaker, I will now proceed on with the submissions. And I want to first of all congratulate the committee, the Health Committee, for undertaking this very important inquiry following a petition that was brought to the floor of this House upon the death of Miss Anita Jepkoril at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. I first of all want to take this opportunity, after thanking the committee for making the bold move to investigate this case of negligence, medical negligence, to offer my sincere and belated condolences to the family of the young Anita, who is now late. It's very unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that we lost such a young child, a young, beautiful child at a tender age, who must have had a very promising future and was very young at the point when she died, and she was in the hands of adults who were competent enough to handle medical crisis and medical issues. And Honorable Speaker, I am not blind to the fact that doctors in this country have done a lot of very good work. Indeed, Kenya offers some of the best doctors in the region. And this report, the findings of the Committee on Health, must only serve the doctors in this country to act as a mirror to reflect on how, while they are best in the region, how much more they need to do to improve their standard of care and their standard of provision of the services to the people in Kenya, and not just to the people in Kenya, but to also know they are being depended upon by other nations that are within our neighboring the nation of Kenya. Kenya is known to supply doctors to South Sudan, is known to supply doctors even to the UK, is known to supply doctors, even nurses, to the US. So the standard of care and the expectation to one who is given much, much more is expected. So this report should come in and should be studied, I hope, by Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council and the KMA, Kenya Medical Association, and all the associations that are bringing doctors, nurses, lab technicians, and every health service provider, not so much with a critical eye, but so much as reflecting at the level of service that is being offered. Because if they are the lead in Kenya, and they are the lead in the region, and getting to the international level, then much more will be demanded of them, so that when we send our doctors out there, we fly our flag high and say that both our legislation and the practice they are doing in Kenya and outside is acceptable and meets the international standards. Honorable Speaker, I would want to recount once again the provisions of Article 43 of the Constitution of Kenya that provide that every person has the right to the highest attainable standard of health, which includes right to health care services, including reproductive health care. And I would also want to note that we have in the Republic of Kenya a national patients' rights charter that holds that all people have the right to good health and quality health care, which includes right to access health care, right to receive emergency treatment in any health facility, right to be informed of all the provisions of one medical scheme or health insurance policy, like the SHA, and that is why the public has been taught quite a bit about the SHA, the services that are being provided by under SHA or Taifa Care, right to choose a healthcare provider, right to the highest attainable quality of healthcare products and services, and that also talks into the quality of drugs we should be having in the country, right to refuse treatment. I don't know how far that right can be pushed, because one must caution themselves when they refuse treatment. Either they are refusing because they don't believe in it. Right to confidentiality, right to informed consent to treatment, right to information concerning with respect and dignity. And I'm thinking about even the mothers who are giving birth in hospitals. A lot of mothers who are at delivery or in labor ward have complained of being mistreated or not being handled properly or not feeling fully supported due to the process of childbirth. And then they have a right to information concerning one's health and healthcare, rights to be treated with respect and dignity, right to second medical opinion, right to complain about healthcare, to have your complaint investigated and to receive a full response thereafter, right to insurance coverage without discrimination, and right to maybe donate their organ or any other arrangement that one would wish to have upon their demise, because there are those who normally can will that on their demise, they can will that their bodies can be used for research or anything else. It's also noted under the National Patients' Rights Charter. Now, having said that, Honorable Speaker, I've seen the investigation that was carried out by the Health Committee, and it has laid out a very sad story of how the young Anita was handled and how she went through different processes and procedure, how she went through some tests and scans. She went through on 9th of January 2021 a bronchoscopy done, I don't know whether that's how it's pronounced, to remove the seed that was supposed to have been stuck on her airways. And apparently they appeared not to find it, and she was adjudged as not having anything blocking her airways, as a result of which she was discharged, but quickly readmitted same day. Honorable Speaker, the process that this girl went through, even up to the time she was discharged and sent back home, and when she was returned back to hospital, now there was some tooth that had, for some reason, been swallowed and was being removed from the system. It looks so untidy, because if you look at paragraph 8 or page 8 of that report, it appears Anita had lost 2 of her upper incisor teeth while in theater. And upon inquiry, Dr. Nshon confided to them that he removed the 2 teeth as they were wobbly during bronchoscopy procedure. And so in total, they had managed to remove 3 teeth, including the one from the lung. And the doctor, the hospital, could not account for those teeth. When they were asked by Anita's mom where those teeth, where the teeth went to, I think they were only able to produce, was it 1 or 2? They could not account for the teeth that were removed from a child in theater, while the child had gone in to be removed a black seed that was stuck in an airway. Honorable Speaker, it is very sad that when this matter was finally brought to Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council, it took so long for a determination to be done as to whether the hospital and the doctors were negligent or not negligent. And after a long process and a long wait, Honorable Speaker, this thing was so dramatic. Finally, they found that Dr. Stephen Odingo and MTRH were negligent, and each was fined 200,000 and 350,000 respectively. I do not know whether that money was paid. Of course, that's what I would call peppercorn. When you look at loss of life, loss of a young life, and unnecessary, it was needless, it was not necessary. Honorable Speaker, our government spends quite a substantial amount to take us through university education, and most of the doctors who are in Kenya have been trained through our public institution, just like many of us who have gone through the public institutions at university level. And they are very well trained, by the way, and many people have gone to hospital very sick in Kenya and have recovered fully, even after 5-6 operations, and we say, well done to the doctors for the many successful procedures they have done. We have delivered in those hospitals, the babies were okay. So there are many good things in our hospitals. But we must focus on that which has not gone okay. Why? Because that focus is so important. This is not even like engineering, where a mistake can be corrected, or you can deconstruct a house or demolish and rebuild again. Once you make a mistake of the nature of medical negligence, sometimes it's completely reversible. It destroys the patient, it destroys the family, it destroys too many people along the line, Mr. Speaker, and the Honorable Speaker. And that is why we are saying the findings of this report should mark an end to a lot of negligence that we are seeing in the hospitals. Hospitals must self-inspect themselves, and doctors using their bodies must now manage the question of medical negligence in Kenya. It is not only Anita who has suffered, Honorable Speaker. There are many people who do not know what to do, how to petition Parliament, how to seek for help. But if there was proper self-governance within the doctors' boards and the medical boards, Honorable Speaker, then we would find it is way easier to manage cases of negligence. And then I know that doctors and hospitals are overwhelmed. Doctors are overworked. It calls for a very integrated approach, a thorough approach, a multifaceted approach of ensuring we have doctors who are not only well remunerated, doctors who are not being overworked, so that when they are in theater, their decision is not subject to the status of how their bodies are because of lack of rest or overworking for too many long hours, Honorable Speaker. So we would urge the Health Committee not to leave this report lying on the shelves of Senate. This report must be looked at by the Minister, the CS for Health. It must be looked at by all hospitals to ensure that they can reduce incidences of negligence. I would say, of course, that Anita's family should be recompensed, not because it will recover Anita, but just as a way of appreciating that an institution has shown remorse for negligence. And to also say to KMPDC, if you have to help the medical board, if you have to help yourselves as a medical profession, don't cover up. So that you can help the ones who are doing the job in the theaters and hospitals to do a better job, and have an approach of having second opinions on patients who are suffering ailments which are a bit technical or a bit complicated. Why do you not have a second opinion? Because if one doctor is making such a big mistake, why are they not covered by another doctor, have you allowed the seniors to instruct the younger doctors? KMPDC, disciplinary committee, we would urge you from Senate to please wake up. Refine your skill. You are being depended upon not just by our country, but the countries that are around Kenya. Then those who are neighboring Kenya. Many people are dependent on our Kenya Medical Association, the personnel and the doctors, the nurses, all those who are being trained and skilled from within the Republic of Kenya. Otherwise, I want to say pole sana to Anita's family, and I pray that justice will be rendered for the doctor who did this and the many doctors who have done wrong things to patients. It's high time we admitted our errors and rectified our ways and did a better job using the medical institutions around us to refine the skill that should be delivered to every patient. Show me a nation which has bad doctors, and I'll show you a nation whose future is threatened. Let's do the best as doctors. You have been doing a lot, but refine yourself. Reduce the incidences of negligence and don't cover up. In my practice as a legal practitioner, one of the hardest cases to prove is one that involves medical negligence. Because to find one doctor to testify against another doctor is usually very difficult, because they do not want to put their colleagues in trouble. And it's understandable. These are their colleagues, and maybe sometimes they say there was no intention of being negligent. But the point is to improve their skill. Let doctors be more careful. Let doctors seek medical opinions even from their colleagues. There is no shame in asking your colleague what their opinion is on a case which looks complicated. Let's safeguard life and give dignity to the patients. For the mothers who have really suffered in the labor wards where they are giving birth, and they have had sad incidences with the medical support around them, I think that should never happen. It's unfortunate because when those mothers walk out of those labor wards, they usually speak about very hard experiences that they have had in the labor ward. And Honorable Speaker, because I'm a mother and I have been to the labor ward several times, there is nothing as bad as for a woman in that moment tilting between life and death. For a person who is healthy, a practitioner who is supposed to aid and assist and make it easy for the mother, for that nurse, for that assistant, to then harass a mother who is delivering in a labor ward, whether it's in a private hospital or a public hospital, that is sadistic and very wrong. It's the highest abuse. It's a gross abuse of human rights. Let's safeguard life. Let's have dignity for the patients who walk through the doors seeking for treatment and seeking for support. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support this report.
Senator Christo Asige.
Speaker, I would like to thank the Health Committee for the table that they have put before us to consider today. Speaker, it is always painful to read these kinds of reports, hear these kinds of accounts, and this one is no different. A devastatingly painful narrative is in this report of a young girl, Anita, who has needlessly lost her life in the care of a facility that is supposed to safeguard life. Mr. Speaker, it must have been very difficult for the committee to have to go over the harrowing story and the harrowing account that they have put down in this report, but I do thank them for their effort and the recommendations and findings therein. Mr. Speaker, death need not be this way. This young girl, Anita, just a little baby. We even had a few students who are in chambers today, Speaker, and I think of them and that age group, the chosen generation, here to live out their purpose, to live out their assignment, but their life, like Anita, being cut short is unforgivable under any circumstance, Speaker. And myself as a young person who deals a lot with young people and the youth and listening to their goals and dreams, I am just beside myself having to read this report, especially when it is under the circumstance of negligence, gross negligence by the Moi Teacher and Referral Hospital. Speaker, though it is a painful report to have to read through and to debate this evening, I am happy to at least hear colleague senators empathize with the narrative that is in this report, to empathize with the pain and the grueling experience that Anita must have gone through before succumbing to her unfortunate death in this medical facility. This was flagged off, of course, by Senator Cherargei, who made the first submission, and I must be honest in saying that I was surprised to hear him speak so passionately about human rights, Speaker, and about compassion and empathy and matters of safeguarding life, because the tone last week and the Hansard will bear me witness from him did not really, track with what was said here today. Mr. Speaker, I remember last week hearing members of Parliament applauding, almost celebrating, the violent attack and detention of one of our own Kenyan nationals, Boniface Mwangi, and our neighboring national, Agatha Atahaire. Mr. Speaker, just as we have seen in this report, Anita's death was needless, just like Boniface's detention and violent beating was needless, and just like Agatha Atahaire's violent rape and detention was needless. If we're talking about compassion and empathy, we must talk about it across the board. You don't speak from one side of the mouth in 1 week and from the other side of the mouth the next week, Mr. Speaker. And perhaps maybe this morning's national prayer breakfast has convicted some members of Parliament. Maybe they now see the importance of being compassionate and taking life as something sensitive, whatever the circumstance. And I'm glad that if that's the case, there are some who have been convicted. And I hope that we continue as leaders to apologize for the misgivings and the shortcomings that we continue to perpetuate. Mr. Speaker, I'm glad for the findings in this report. I do wish that there would be more harsh consequences or recommendations having been put in this particular report, because there is a family and there's a community that Anita belonged to who are in pain right now. And even though we're debating this, and yes, it's our job to stand as legislators to represent and oversight matters of the sort, it doesn't take away from the results that we are staring at, which is that a young girl has gone because of gross negligence. And Mr. Speaker, we must apologize, just like it was said by a good man of God this morning at the prayer breakfast. We must apologize if we are to seek any kind of freedom or forgiveness for transgressions. Let me be clear, Speaker. Leaders in this country, including doctors in this facility that handled Anita, have not only sinned against God, they have sinned against man. And even if today's prayer breakfast convicted some of us and their grievous transgressions, as I said, and they felt led to come into agreement with the different prayers prayed, remember, Speaker, we have not only sinned against against God, we have also sinned against man. This is greater than an act of parliament. It's greater than this report. It's greater than the Constitution that we serve even. This is God's law, Speaker. And as lawmakers, we ought to be the ones to understand more than most the importance of following the letter of the law. Mr. Speaker, I want to also Of course, apart from giving my condolences.
Senator, I am now the one, Senator Crystal. It's Madam Speaker now.
Thank you.
Taking over.
I thought I just said Speaker. I did not think that I said Madam or Mr., but I will continue. Speaker, we have this report that we are debating, and I think we have all concluded that it is a good report, and the committee has done a good job. I do think that there needs to be more stringent recommendations. A fine is not enough. I think disciplinary action should be to the highest degree for the result that we are seeing here today, which is loss of life. Speaker, it's not enough for 200,000 fine to be set upon a doctor or a 350,000 fine to be set upon a doctor. The entire facility should pay an account for this negligence, because Anita was so brave. I can only imagine she was so brave, being taken from medical room to medical room with no answers, from doctor to doctor with no answers, from test to test with no answers. She even left the facility and came back later that day, Speaker, still in pain and agony. She must have been so brave, trying to hold on to her life, but doctor when it comes to the relationship between doctor and patient, it has to be a mutual collaborative relationship. The patient has to try just as hard as the doctor has to try to preserve life. But on this case, Speaker, and according to this report, the doctors did not do their part in preserving life. Anita was left alone. For all those hours, through all those tests, through all that waiting, she was left absolutely alone. Just like many young children and many young youth in this country have been left alone by the people who are supposed to serve and protect them. Young people are going through far too much. And this morning we heard in the prayer breakfast, and I was so happy to hear young people being affirmed and validated and being seen and being given a voice, Madam Speaker. It is comforting and reassuring that at least one or two people understand the importance of youth, the promise that young people have. And unfortunately, Anita will not get to see another day to fulfill her promise as a young person because of the negligence that we are seeing here. Speaker, I also want to just take, as I close, the opportunity to pay my condolences to her family, to her friends, to her community. It is absolutely heartbreaking, and it was needless, like I said, preventable under every single circumstance according to this report. So many things went wrong, and it wasn't just one action. It was a slew of different failures by this particular facility. And I hope that the KMPDC will do their job, as well as this committee in our Senate, the Health Committee, to continue to pursue this, not just let this report be tabled and then have it as done and dusted. Madam Speaker, we need to do far more to ensure that this does not continue, because youth are relying on us on all fronts, whether it's in education, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in governance, whether it's in the judicial system, whether it's here in Parliament, to be represented fully and to be safeguarded without fear or favor of any kind of failure from us. Madam Speaker, we are the head, not the tail, as youth. We are a holy nation as the youth. Like I said, we are the chosen generation as the youth. We are lenders and not the borrowers. These are the things that were talked about and are continuing to be talked about in the wake of this morning's National Prayer Breakfast. And I want young people and even the memory, the precious memory of Anita, to take comfort in that we will continue whatever work she was assigned to do here on this earth. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Krista. For those who missed the prayer breakfast, I think you can already hear it has changed people. So we hope next year you don't miss the prayer breakfast. Majority Whip. Senator Matthew John Moher.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And I am one of those who missed the prayer breakfast. I'm very happy to hear that those who attended are changing. And I hope they will really change because they really require that change. I specifically think that the people who attended actually required to attend, not those of us who didn't attend. The change is needed by those who attended. Madam Speaker, I think I first want to thank the Committee on Health. In my opinion, I think they have done a very good job. This is a good report. Putting into account, Honorable Speaker, that the tools of trade they were working on in terms of their recommendations were not very broad. The spectrum upon which action can be taken on such a difficult and sad case, Honorable Speaker, I've seen that the tools that they were using on, the laws that they were depending on, I really don't give them the tools that they will require. Honorable Speaker, may I say this? This is an extremely painful and difficult petition that has come to the Senate, Honorable Speaker. I don't think it can be more painful. I don't think the Senate can debate a more difficult and a more, a more painful petition than what is before us, Honorable Speaker. I agree with Senator Asige that baby Anita Jepkorir needed not to go through such a difficult and painful ordeal, especially the people whom she and her parents sought help from, and they are the ones who are supposed to help her after this very unfortunate incident, Honorable Speaker. She was a brave girl, Honorable Speaker. Having lived through this ordeal, Honorable Speaker, for the 4 months since she started her medication, Honorable Speaker, it actually tells that baby Anita Jepkorir was a brave young girl. She really wanted to live. She fought to live. Despite the negligence of the doctors, Honorable Speaker, she fought on. And actually, from the observations that have been made by the committee, Honorable Speaker, on the day that she collapsed, she was playing outside. That tells you that the baby was fighting on to live. She really wanted to, to keep her life, Honorable Speaker. There's a very thin line between negligence of a doctor and the recommendations that have been proposed by law, Honorable Speaker, of what should be done to a doctor who is negligent. Honorable Speaker, of many professions that we have, Honorable Speaker, if anything goes wrong, there are many ways of remedying and correcting anything that could go wrong. But for a medical doctor in an operating table, one wrong move, we have lost a life. If it was an engineer, Honorable Speaker, maybe even if they had built a 5-walled or a 5-story building, Honorable Speaker, it can be brought down and something can be corrected. If it was a mechanic, Honorable Speaker, the part they have put in that engine can be corrected. But for a medical doctor, once you do the wrong diagnosis, Honorable Speaker, we have lost a life. I'm wondering, Honorable Speaker, whether you watched a video that was in the social media yesterday of a parent who was in deep pain from Igegania Hospital in Gatundu. You saw a father holding their kid. They are holding their daughter. And now the doctors want to come and pick the daughter from the father. And he's asking the doctors, I have been here for the whole day. My daughter has died in my hands. What have you been doing the whole day? And you're saying that you are on strike. What would be more precious than a human life? That father was literally fighting the doctors in that hospital, Honorable Speaker. Can you imagine the pain that was in that father of that daughter, Honorable Speaker? Do you imagine if your parent was to die in your hands and you are seeing the people who are supposed to help you on this particular, in this kind of a situation, Honorable Speaker? You know, Honorable Speaker, many people have spoken about what we in government and what we in leadership ought to do. And there are many things that we ought to do. But of the many things and of the many services that we ought to think and plan in terms of offering services to the people of Kenya, if there is one area that we must be very, very deliberate and put as much effort, as much resources as possible, Honorable Speaker, it will be in the healthcare system. I'm happy that you're on that seat, Honorable Speaker. When one of us was, I don't want to give the story, but one of our colleagues, and you are there yourself, got herself in a situation that she really needed medical attention in some place around Ukambani, Honorable Speaker. When you are taking her to Machakos Level 4 or Level 5 hospital, Honorable Speaker, you actually felt that she could not even make it to the other hospitals that we come to in Nairobi. Maybe she would not have made it to Nairobi Hospital. Maybe you would not have made it to, she really required medical services there and then. The closest medical facility that was there was Machakos Level 5 Hospital, Honorable Speaker. Just imagine. Had that facility not had the services that that senator required, you can imagine what would have happened, Honorable Speaker. If we can't invest in the health care, Honorable Speaker, you have actually aptly put it well. If we have a sick nation, then we don't have a nation. If we cannot have and we cannot invest enough, Honorable Speaker, we have seen the UHC staff for the last about 2 or 3 months. They're always here at the gate. We pass them and sometimes we speak to them. Sometimes we are running away from them. Other time we are going through the parliamentary tunnel because we don't want to meet them at the gate. They come from the gate of the Senate. From the gate of the Senate, they go to the gate of the National Assembly. And I wonder whether you have read the headline of the Daily Nation of today so that we can understand the anguish that is with the people of Kenya. And I actually wonder what we as leaders and we as politicians and we who have been given authority over the people of Kenya, when we read such kind of things and we see such kind of issues, Honorable Speaker, when we watch that video of that father who was holding their father yesterday, when we look at this petition of baby Anita Jepkoril, how does it make us feel, Honorable Speaker? Because we are telling the UHC staff, we don't have money to have you permanent and pensionable. We don't have money to give you gratuity for the 5 years that you've worked. And they're asking themselves, 5 years ago when they were being employed, the budget of the Republic of Kenya was at 2.4 trillion. This year's budget, Honorable Speaker, has gone beyond the 4 trillion mark, Honorable Speaker. So they're asking themselves, even after the budget growing with 1.6 trillion, still there is no money that can be able to take care of our health care of the UHC staff, Honorable Speaker. The Daily Nation had a headline written today, patients abandoned. And you can actually see a very sad photo of patients in hospitals. Nobody is there to attend to them because UHC medics have been on the streets for weeks. And now doctors have boycotted duty citing pay delays. Honorable Speaker, we want to blame doctors for negligence. Obviously, nobody should watch people lay in anguish because they require services that you are the only person who can offer those services. But also, Honorable Speaker, to be the devil's advocate, what do you think those medical practitioners feel when we are not able to process their allowances? When their promotions is something that, we are not working on their promotions, Honorable Speaker. In terms of transfers, because I hear that the problem that we had in that county where that father was screaming yesterday, is arbitrary transfers of doctors, Honorable Speaker. They have no, they have no certainty in terms of offering the services that they keep offering, Honorable Speaker. When we tell the UHC staff that we don't have money for their allowances, we don't have money to have them on PNP, then they look at the budget of State House of the time that they were employed, and they look at the same budget now. They look at the other things that we in government feel that these are the installations that we want to invest a lot of money, Honorable Speaker. When in just one supplementary budget, Honorable Speaker, we are able to give the National Intelligence Service a whopping 10 billion in terms of the addition, because they are working on very serious security installations, Honorable Speaker. It is not bad to invest in serious security installations. But somebody would wonder, now I am secure and I am sick. I don't have anybody to attend me when I go to hospital. So it then beats logic. We want to preserve life because we are working on security. But we also want to expose our people into losing the same life, Honorable Speaker, because we are not offering them the services that they actually require. Honorable Speaker, I've also looked at the recommendations that have been made, and that this is where I think we have a gap in law, and it is something that we in Parliament need to look at. The Kenya Medical Dentists and Practitioners Council, KMPDC, should within 3 months of tabling this report issue a caution or reprimand. Issue a caution or reprimand. That is the law. The reading of section 26A says that the only tools that the committee have, the only tools that KMPDC, Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council, the only tools they have, Honorable Speaker, is caution and reprimand. Even when I'm disordered in this house, Honorable Speaker, you only caution me once. The second time you chase me out. But for a medical doctor who is negligent and has caused loss of life, it has been verified and it has been found that it is out of the negligence of this particular doctor that this person died. The only thing that we can do is to reprimand. The only thing that we can do is to caution. If you were to actually take the most adverse step in punishing this doctor, Honorable Speaker, is to ask him to go back to school. It's not to take an account of what they have done already. The other thing that we can only do, and you have heard Senator Cherargei speak about it, is to ask that doctor, go back to school. So what becomes of the fate of the people who have suffered in the hands of this particular person? Honorable Speaker, we must make it a bit stringent. We must make it a bit stringent. Honorable Speaker, maybe think about the parents of Anita Jepkoril. They suffered with this baby when she was alive. They suffered with this baby when she's alive. You can see the kind of suffering that those parents were undergoing. A foreign body is in your daughter's respiratory system. It has not been removed. But to conceal the negligence of the doctor, they want to remove the teeth of the girl. When you ask for the teeth, they are not available. When you want to insist, you are not allowed. They also suffered, and they have suffered with this daughter when she is dead. Honorable Speaker, first of all, do you actually appreciate that this girl died 3 years ago? Justice have not been served to these parents until they have to come to the Senate for the last 3 years. Nothing has happened. When they were seeking information so that they can lodge this particular complaint, Honorable Speaker, Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital was not coming through for them. Just imagine. Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital and Kenyatta National Hospital, I think, and Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital, I think are the top in terms of the health facilities that we have in the Republic. If people are suffering like this, Dr. Boni Harwale, in Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, just imagine what would happen in JM Karaoke, which is not even a teaching and referral hospital, Honorable Speaker. It is from these level 6 hospitals that we expect the best of the best are found, Honorable Speaker. But what do we see? What do we get? Is this kind of a problem? Maybe finally, because I also see many of the colleagues want to speak about this. The only people, Madam Speaker, and I think this is where I also felt that in terms of our recommendation, we apportioned the bigger blame of the death of baby Anita Jepkoril to the legal department of the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital more than the person who was negligent. Because the recommendations requires that the legal department and the staff of the legal department of the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, disciplinary and administrative action should be taken on them. But for the doctor who caused this death, there is nothing like disciplinary or administrative action that is happening on this particular case, Honorable Speaker. I am wondering and I am getting confused in my mind. Between the people who are trying to help conceal this particular evidence, Honorable Speaker, and the person who actually caused the scene, who should be apportioned more of the blame? Who should carry the bigger burden of the blame of the death of baby Anita Jepkoril? Because the legal department, in our recommendation, we are asking that disciplinary and administrative action is taken upon them, which is very good, because they were supposed to actually help. They were supposed to help the parents of baby Anita so that they can get the bottom of this. They have a piece of their blame. But I think the bigger blame is on Dr. Ondigo and the team of doctors who are working on this particular baby. There is also a very good recommendation, and I think I really hope that this particular recommendation will be implemented. On recommendation number 4, Honorable Speaker, there should be a creation of a formal patients advocacy within healthcare facilities to assist families in navigating complaints. Honorable Speaker, you can imagine people who are anguishing in the villages, Honorable Speaker, people who cannot be able to, who do not even know that they can actually petition the Senate, people who have suffered in the hands of doctors, Honorable Speaker, but they cannot get justice because this justice has not, or the framework upon which they can seek for this justice, Honorable Speaker, has not been established. This is a case of Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. What happens to any other person who has suffered this particular, or has a complaint against a doctor, has a complaint against a healthcare facility or healthcare service provider, in whatever level of health provision or in whatever level of a facility, be it a level 5, be it a level 3, be it a dispensary, Honorable Speaker, be it a health center, whatever it would be, Honorable Speaker, you know many cases, Honorable Speaker, of misdiagnosis. Many people have been misdiagnosed. They have suffered in the hands of doctors, Honorable Speaker. You know, many people have been told you have such and such a disease, and it has been established data that they were not suffering from the same disease. The trauma, that's why you're being told that you have to always seek a second opinion. You have to seek a third opinion. You have to seek a fourth opinion. And every opinion is different from the initial opinion. I'm wondering, Dr. Boni, because you're a doctor, do you have a different set of syllabus that you are subjected to? That this doctor would diagnose you for this, the other doctor would tell you that it is this. In one hospital, you're being told it's H. pylori. In the next hospital, you're being told that you have cancer of the stomach. In the other one, you're being told that it is just water that you're not taking. Honorable Speaker, this incompetence must be addressed, Honorable Speaker, and because I see the light is beaming, I want to consolidate and finish. Number 5, we need to develop standardized protocols and mechanisms for investigating reported medical negligence cases, Honorable Speaker. Actually, do you see that after Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council found this doctor culpable, they were told to go and agree with the family about the action that should be taken? Honorable Speaker, do you actually see, and by the way, I also wanted to ask, since these doctors were fined, I think a fine of 250,000 and another fine of 300,000, was it going to the parents? Was it going to the hospital? Was it going to the council itself? Or to whom was this money being paid, Honorable Speaker? Why can't we have a prescribed list of what needs to be done once you are found culpable? Don't be told to go and agree with the mother. Because you've seen in the submissions of the hospital, they're actually asking the family to appreciate the many working hours. You know, you have to appreciate that we worked on your daughter for so long, but you worked on her. Honorable Speaker, it's like you're going to Nyandarua, and you take the road to Mombasa, and you're driving so fast, and you're saying, can't you appreciate that I'm driving so fast? But you're driving so fast in the wrong direction. You cannot get where you are going. Once you have misdiagnosed this particular case, Honorable Speaker, it does not matter for how long you have worked on this baby. In fact, the parents of this baby have argued that you are working on this baby for so long because you already made an initial mistake. Had you noticed that this foreign body was just a seed that this baby has swallowed, Honorable Speaker, you needed not work on her for a very long time. Finally, we need to encourage hospitals to engage in mediation processes with the families of the patient. But, Honorable Speaker, we encourage hospitals to engage with the parents, Honorable Speaker. We have to have a very structured mediation. It's not that you're just told go and agree with your hospital. There must be a mediation mechanism. Even in court, Honorable Speaker, there must be a mediation. You have to go to and meet a mediator so that you can agree and say that we have settled this matter out of court. Not that you are forced to go and agree with the hospital, Honorable Speaker. Every time people are told to go and agree with the hospital, more often or not, it is the patient and their parents, or Honorable Speaker, who lose. It's not the hospital. The hospital who argue that we did our best. The hospitals who argue that we gave the best medical care. We give you the best surgeon. But you gave the best surgeon but did the wrong thing. Maybe finally, Honorable Speaker, as I sit, may I also appreciate the Senate. I feel that I am very proud to be a member of this Senate, Honorable Speaker. Because the things that we are dealing with and the things that we are speaking about here, Honorable Speaker, are very, very weighty issues that touch on the people of Kenya. I never hear, as Honorable Speaker, ask for adjournment so that we can discuss it individuals. I never hear that happening in the Senate, and I'm very proud that in the Senate we are always dealing with issues, Honorable Speaker. We may not agree every time. We may have divergent opinions, Honorable Speaker, every time. But even at the height of the Gen Z's protest in the June of 2024, when everybody ran away, the Senate stood and we were here and we were speaking about the issues of the people of Kenya. I think that is the Senate that I always aspired to be in, and I am always very proud to be a member of this Senate, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Medha. Let's have Senator Hamida. I hope you're not seated on that seat. Sergeant at Arms, you noticed her seat malfunctioned, and it quite made her fall. You should have reacted faster. The speed I saw, next time response time should be reduced. She was down for half a minute. She shouldn't be down for over 5 seconds before you move in. You can proceed, Senator Hamida.
Thank you. My minority leader is insisting that I should go to the dispatch, but it's okay. Thank you for your concern, Emel. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I feel so honored with this petition and how my colleagues have contributed. Madam Speaker, this is my petition that I brought to the Health Committee and investigated. My colleagues have spoken with so much passion about it, Madam Speaker, that I feel quite overwhelmed, and I could feel the pain. You can imagine what I went through when I was talking to Mama Anita. Mama Anita, Madam Speaker, came to me crying, and it was like she had lost all the hope. She had lost, of course, Anita, but hope that she cannot get justice. And it was on that breath that I decided, no, I need to take upon myself to follow it up. Madam Speaker, you being there, you contributed, and Senator Asige and others, and Senator Matthew, quite passionately, that I'm only waiting for Senator Khalwale as the medical doctor to add the flavor. I really don't have much to say because it was mine, but I feel that the medical negligence, Madam Speaker, this is not the first time. I have done many other petitions and investigations that I brought forward, and all of them, almost all of them, Madam Speaker, they were all medical negligence. From Kenyatta Hospital, when we had that baby who from Kenyatta Hospital, then we had Mama Lucy Hospital again, where a mother died, and lost her life while she had her twins. And looking at it, there were two issues, Madam Speaker. Now, I don't know whether there was a failure of the medical equipment, Madam Speaker, because it shows that there was a failure initially on bronchoscopy and thoracotomy. forgive me, those are foreign words to me, and Dr. Haloli knows them very well. Those procedures, to remove the ingested foreign body was not done properly. So either the mess was messy, that these medical equipments are just there and they are non-functional. Of course, I have seen the same. There's one time, Madam Speaker, I went to Kenyatta Hospital, and out of 40, what are they called? Renal, the dialysis machine. You can't believe out of about 40, 45, only 20 were working, and about 25 of them were not working at the Kenyatta Hospital. And they were showing us, they said, look, Senator, all these are not working, and yet, people are being a statement on medical equipment, and until now, Madam Speaker, I am complaining. Nothing has been discussed. That the medical equipment statement has been put aside until to date. We have not even gone there. It's 2 years now that statement has not been dealt with, either with my own health committee that I sit in, or either intentionally it has been done. I don't know, but I feel so sad for that. So it's either the medical equipment or the negligence, of course, from failure, from one of the doctors called Dr. Ondigo and his medical team, who tried to revisit the CT scan results to confirm the retrieval of the foreign object. Imagine the pain that this girl was in when they plucked her 2 teeth out of nothing. And since they didn't see a seed, they had to have a black seed. They had to give an excuse that it was the tooth, either one tooth that went in. She consumed the tooth, and that's why she had the failure. But then the post-operative briefings were done. Medical practitioners were not led, to the surgeons who violated the good medical practice by not giving the proper documentation, information shared during different briefings with the patient, Madam Speaker. And the family they were all frustrated. Nothing was coming forthright. The attendants on the post-discharge complications were managed without consulting cardiothoracic surgeons, which coupled with poor record-keeping procedures, Madam Speaker, that violated the disciplinary care. The petitioner, Madam Speaker, was denied fair hearing. Mama Anita was denied fair hearing of the death of her child. The dispute resolution of the MTRH and KPMD delayed in addressing the concerns raised in the matters as characterized by the extent and the delay between the case and what was filed with the decision and what was rendered, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when we talk about negligence of the doctors, I will talk about it in pain, that I also lost my sister, my own sister, or firstborn sister, at the Kenyatta Referral Hospital, but then through medical negligence. And I feel that, of course, she was diagnosed with wrong medicine, the steroids, and she had to lose her life. So I felt it, for Mama Anita, and that's why I had to bring forth the petition. Madam Speaker, our prayers, of course, and our recommendations in the committee was to discipline. The disciplinary action should be taken, and the procedure should be taken to ensure full compliance with Section 20, 6G of the Medical Practitioners and Dentists Act, which requires fines to be imposed in addition in other appropriate disciplinary measures. But I feel strongly that fines, after losing life, fines paying fines is just not enough, Madam Speaker. These doctors have to pay for it. Seriously, we need to create a form of patient advocacy, Madam Speaker, a program where the healthcare facilities to assist families in navigating complaints and grievances related to such cases, Madam Speaker. These rights should be available, and the cases perceived in such negligence, Madam Speaker. I also feel, looking at what Mama Anita went through, we also need, Madam Speaker, to encourage hospitals to engage in medical processes with families and patients who have experience in adverse outcomes, ensuring that these processes are facilitated by seriously neutral third parties to promote fairness and transparency. Madam Speaker, Mama Anita was quite frustrated because the same KPMD and Moi referral frustrated this lady. So you imagine you're having the same people who are mediating, the same issues. So I feel strongly that we should have had the third-party mediators on such cases. Excuse me. Then, Madam Speaker, I also feel that continuous quality improvement practices with such cases should be enhanced on patients with care standards. Seriously, this could involve routine audits, Madam Speaker, of surgical outcomes. Madam Speaker, you can imagine this is one of those cases that, thank you, Senator Mutata. This is one of those cases, Madam Speaker, that was brought to us. Now, can you imagine other Kenyans going through the same? Other Kenyans who do not have a voice, to fight for themselves. Then who does, Madam Speaker? I feel strongly that the same doctors, through their negligence, should be punished. They should go through the disciplinary measures for them, for others to understand the mess involved, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the negligence and also the staff that handled Anita, I wonder what happened, because we even expected the staff to have their competence, to be competent enough. Excuse me. Madam Speaker, I feel the staff also were incompetent enough to have handled Anita Jepkorir. That black seed would have been detected, and the kind of machines we have now, and thankfully now we have the AIs also that have, are replacing what we have, that are able to support. This untimely death of Anita Jepkorir was largely caused by medical negligence and medical personnel at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. Madam Speaker, my prayers have already been put down with the Standing Committee of Health, and the report is there. It's in black and white. Like I said, I don't have much. Since I went through the pain of Mama Anita, I am just humbled with my colleagues, and I still want to give space to Senator Mutata and maybe any other senator to contribute to this, Madam Speaker. But I feel justice has to be done. Justice delayed is justice denied. So I feel strongly the punishment has to go out strongly. Madam Speaker, I want to give this space. I want to contribute my time to to my other colleagues. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator, for your contribution and for bringing the petition. Senator Boni Halwale.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for this chance. And I want to confess from the beginning that this is not an easy debate. It is extremely complex because anything resulting in death is final. It marks the cessation of life that expresses itself, Madam Speaker, through cessation of breathing, cessation of the heartbeat, and death of the mind, of the brain. Madam Speaker, to be able to debate this difficult subject, it's important that we understand as Parliament what is medical negligence, because we are about to pass a serious verdict that Dr. Ondigo and the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospitals were negligent. Madam Speaker, negligence involves a case where a healthcare provider fails to follow standard methods of providing care to a patient and ending up causing preventable harm to a patient. This harm to the extreme can be death or various levels of injury. And therefore, this is where we are. That poor little Anita died and Parliament is investigating. Did Dr. Ondigo fail to provide medical care using standard medical methods? That is what you should respond to. And to do this, dear colleagues, to my professional mind, we must tick against 6 boxes. The first box, Madam Speaker, is, was there misdiagnosis? By that I mean, was Dr. Ondigo unable to establish the medical problem of the little girl? In this case, from this report, no. Dr. Ondigo made the proper diagnosis of a foreign object in the pulmonary system. So you can't indict him on that particular score. The second one is, was there failure to treat? In this report, I've read it carefully. There was a lot of time spent on attempting to treat this patient so as to prevent this unfortunate outcome. Treatment is not defined as being having been done only when the patient has recovered. Even where a patient dies, treatment is given. So again, you can't indict Dr. Ondigo. The third question is, was there surgical or anesthetic error? Here, you can't take it off because we don't know what happened in theater, whether it's the doctor who got it wrong or the anesthetist who did not give the proper anesthesia. The fourth question, which we must ask, was the surgery that was given necessary or it was unnecessary? As a medical expert, I can confirm that based on the diagnosis, the surgery which was given in this case was the correct one. So you can't indict Dr. Ondigo on this particular score. The fifth question we must answer is, were there medical errors? On this one, both the hospital and Dr. Ondigo can't run away. From what we have heard, it looks as either during theater or immediately after theater or the long-term postoperative care, there must have been errors. So here, it's difficult to vouch for the innocence of Dr. Ondigo. The first one is the timing of the surgery. The last one is the timing of the surgery. In this case, was surgery delayed? From the reports I'm reading here, Madam Speaker, it is not too clear the timings of both bronchoscopy and thoracotomy. And let me spend some time on this one. Senator Amida, this big word in English, thoracotomy, bronchoscopy, is a simple procedure where using a medical equipment called a bronchoscope, you approach the pulmonary system of the patient, shine the light inside, and view whether you can pick any
Senator Halwale, when we resume, you'll have a balance of 13 minutes, and this debate will continue tomorrow. Honorable Senators, it's now 6:30 p.m. Time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, 29th May 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Thank you.